Hello everyone, it's Heather, the Crafty Writer. Um, so today, it's gonna kind of be like a work with me. I don't know how to explain this video. So I wanted to chat today and let you know, some things that's been happening. Reason why I haven't been very active, as of late. And I figured I'd do like a small little mini haul and show you how I deconstruct some of these books to use for journal making and the sort. So first I want to show you some of the books that I ended up getting. I got two of these. They're called Town and Country Cat. Lynn Holland's Town and Country Cat. Paintings by Robert Goldstrom. I have two. I got these from a used bookstore. They kind of reminded me of like Edith Holden books. And I'm working on a journal for a friend. More like a memory book, I guess. She rescues cats and is a foster mom to cats. So I found this and thought this would be great. Along with this, Shakespeare Cats. What's great about this book is, it's literally, it's got a picture that kind of goes with a bit of Shakespeare and a bit of either one of his sonnets, his plays, that kind of thing. So, what's really interesting is I actually have a calendar of that from 2000. This was actually my calendar, and originally I was going to cut up some of the pages in the calendar for the journal, but I was going to have to like fussy cut the cats out because the pages were too big, and then I found that, so that kind of works out, kind of perfectly. I'm trying to decide where I want to put stuff. So I know I won't get through all of this stuff today on video, and then I got some stuff for the art folio thing I've been working on, along with some eyelets. So I'm going to set this over here because we'll be working on that in a later video. And then, so if you have something called a Second and Charles near you, you can take books in and, get store credits, or you can take them in and get cash for them. Now, a used bookstore, you can also take some of them, you can take books in and trade and do the same thing. What's also great about Second and Charles is that when you take books in, or when somebody takes books in, they can opt whether or not they want to take the ones that Second and Charles doesn't take. They could take them home, donate them, or whatever, or they can leave them in the free pile, which is how I got this. It is an old school, like textbook, but, I still think, they make great pages, like pockets and stuff, and then you have really good block text that you can use, and some of the pictures aren't too bad. You do have to, some people have written on them, but, whatever. Ooh, look at that. Where a paperclip used to be and got rusted. That's kind of cool. Oh, there's the paperclip. Hang on. Here's the paperclip. So, anyway, I think that's kind of neat. I also got this book. And this one's really cool because it's an old school encyclopedia dictionary. Look at that paper. And it's that nice thin stuff. So this will be great for collaging. And then you have some pictures, and it's definitely seen better days. But that's okay. So it'll be, I think a lot of fun to use. And then I found an old school science textbook which again, it's like the first one, it's out of date, but these can be a lot of fun to use. So I wanted to show those and let you know that Second and Charles is a great place. I'll probably take this apart and use the outside of the books for a couple of them. Anyway, let me move stuff around and we'll get started on, I think, just this one. We'll take this one apart. So I wanted to do this so I could kind of give a chat. I like it when you see people right inside, and this is from 1983. Elizabeth, from one cat lover to another, enjoy your summer, Betty. That was very sweet of you to give her this, Betty. Alright, so, I like the outside. The outside to this is really good. I like that little butterfly. Alright, so when you're looking at books, one of the things you got to look for is how the spine is constructed. It's going to be hard for you to see on camera, but there are there's strings in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you really want. I mean, you can use the other ones where it's kind of glued in like this. You know, you can't really go to the center of a signature and cut the pages like you can here. But with this, you can just rip it. You can just rip these too. But if you like having a full page in the middle of one of your signatures, then you're going to want something you can cut through the center, like these center strings, and cut it out. So for that, you can use just a pair of scissors, if you've got some scissors, an X-Acto knife, and sometimes a pair of tweezers. If it's really hard in there and you can't get it, a pair of tweezers, you can kind of pull it up a little bit and then use your X-Acto knife or scissors to go in and snip it. But that's only if it's like really hard. Usually they're pretty easy to just kind of dip the tip in and pull it out and cut it. So, Sophie, go scratch somewhere else, baby. Sorry if you're hearing that and if you're hearing the automatic litter box in the other room. Okay, and the 4 strings are cut, so then you just pull it out. And then you have a full signature that you can use. My idea for this one, what I'll be doing next, it's not your typical journal. So I won't be using full signatures, but I do need some of this to cover the pages. Okay, so sometimes you get pages where the back of the signature can kind of be glued in. Sometimes you can pull it out and they'll stay intact like this one. Sometimes they'll rip apart. So just as a kind of like a fair warning. So they're still usable. It's just you got to use them in a different way. Anyway, I think this one's. I think this one's going to be. Yeah, that one's going to be like that. Alright, you know what? That's okay. They got a little more glued in there than I expected. But that's okay. We're just going to keep on going, and I want that paper too, because I like that. It's really cute. So, let's get to the chatting part. I don't really do a lot of these videos, because I know not everybody likes them. But I hope you'll excuse. I do have a little bit of a cold I've been getting over, So if you see an odd pause, I probably paused to either cough or to, you know, blow my nose. And I don't want to do that on camera for you guys. So I haven't been around in a little over a week. My last video that I loaded, or the video before. So, I think the Winter Fun Collab was my last video that I filmed, okay? And that was for the giveaway. So, there's a reason I haven't been able to be around, and I figured I would kind of explain that to you. These are odd signatures. It's like you get 2, and then that's it. Okay. Usually there's a lot more signatures in there, or pages in there. Yep, there's only 2. Okay. Now that I know. Anyway, so let me explain why I haven't been around. So that Sunday, December 1st, when I filmed the video, you know, it was a fine day. Went out shopping, got a new Christmas tree, because my old one is a pre-lit tree. The lights all died. So, got a great deal at Target. You know, all that stuff. So, that night, you know, I got to get my daughter ready for school the next day. So, it's, you know, she has to get a bath. Took the dog out. Gave my daughter a bath. Everybody went to bed. And then I realized, oh, I need to do my Amazon order. Got up, did my Amazon order, and because I had a gift card, so I had to go downstairs because that's where my gift card was. And I realized I hadn't seen one of my 3 cats in hours. And then I thought I heard something outside, like jumping in the leaves outside. Turned off the house alarm, go outside, and realize it's my cat. My cat, Storm. I've had Storm for 7 years now. He'd been outside since, and it was about 11 o'clock when I went out there. He'd been out since like 7:30. Somehow he'd snuck past and got out when we were taking the dog out. You know. So, went outside trying to get him in. He let me, like, touch him once. Like, I touched his back. And then he, like, ran off. Like you would think that I had, like, poked him with a stick or something, you know? And he ran off terrified, like he was afraid and didn't know who it was. And then, but he would recognize my voice. So every time I'd call him, you know, he would meow, get this pitiful cry. But he wouldn't come. So I woke my husband up and tried to see if maybe he could get him. And he wouldn't. He couldn't get him. Like, my cat wouldn't come to him either. Do the same thing. He'd meow, get close enough that you could almost reach out and snatch him and, you know, bring him inside. And then he'd run off like you were some kind of demon. And so we have this, like, shed attached to our house, like to the garage. And there's a little bit of a gap underneath, so an animal can crawl under there. And that's what my cat did. And he was so wedged back in that, you know, there was no way that we could crawl under there and get him. So I told my husband, you know what, he's you know, he's out of the wind. The wind's not like, you know, he's out of the element, sort of. If it rains, which it wasn't supposed to, you know, he'll be dry, he'll be cold, but it's not going to be that cold. And we set out stuff too. We set out like food and water. And we left the back door open, and we left the door open into the storage shed. It's like, well, hopefully he'll, you know, find his way inside, and, you know, in the morning, and we'll be fine. But for now, he's okay. Now, I've grown up with a lot of outdoor cats and dogs in the past. So, you know, like indoor, outdoor animals. So, you know, I wasn't I wasn't overly worried. And Storm used to be an outdoor cat. Like, he was, his mama was a stray cat. that I found at my mom's house, my mom and dad's house, and you know, I ended up, she didn't belong to anybody and everything like that. We took care of her. She had her litter of kittens, you know, and then she, you know, found a home and everything, and I kept one of the kittens in that storm. So I've had him since he was, you know, itty bitty, couldn't even open his eyes. And so he was an outdoor cat for like a little while. But it had been long enough that I knew that he probably couldn't remember how to be an outdoor cat. So next morning we get up, we go searching for him, and he's still in the same spot. And then we think, oh my gosh, what if he's stuck, you know? Because he's, you know, a rather heavy-set cat. And you know how cats, like, they'll get themselves wedged in somewhere and then they'll get stuck and swollen and they can't get out. So that was my fear. And so my husband's like, well, let me try and pull up the floorboards. So as he was trying to do that, which didn't work out because they were really, you know, screwed in really, really well, Storm ran out. So, you know, little fat butt wasn't stuck. And so he ran out, and then, of course, we gave chase. Because we tried to get him to come to us, and he wouldn't. So he ran into the front yard. We chased him. Ran into the neighbor's yard, two doors down. Hid behind their car. And my husband and I are like diving, trying to catch him as he's running by us. Runs past us into the neighbor's yard that's next door to us. And goes into their, like, it's not really a shed. They have like this fenced off area where they keep their jet skis and their trash can, wheelbarrow type stuff, you know. So he crawled into there. And we're trying to get him, coax him out. I have like his favorite treats. I have turkey, fresh turkey from Thanksgiving, by the way. And trying to get anything to get him to, you know, come to us. And he just won't do it. So I end up, my neighbor came out and she let us inside the little storage area. And that little booger of a cat jumped a 6-foot, well, he climbed a 6-foot fence to get away and went right back to underneath that part of the house again. So I told my husband, you know what, he's in our yard, we know where he's at, let's let him chill out. We've scared him enough that, you know, I don't know, he needs to calm down. So we left again, everything's still open, and, you know, the entire time we call his name, he's meowing at us. We go back out periodically to try and, you know, coax him in, he won't do it. So the next morning, I go down after I take my daughter to school, and, you know, I call for him, and I don't hear anything. So my husband comes out, and he takes the flashlight, and he looks, because he knew where he was, you know, underneath there, and I had no idea, so I didn't know where to look. So my husband goes and he looks, and he can't find him either. So now it's Tuesday morning. He's been outside since Sunday night. And it's been pretty cold and windy. Like, it's been in the 40s, but it's been really, really windy, so it feels like it's in the 30s. So he's officially missing on Tuesday because we can't find him anywhere. So we look in the neighbors' yards, we look all throughout our backyard, our front yard, everywhere, you know, cats like to hide. Can't find them. So, of course, I'm sobbing and upset and feel just absolutely awful and miss my cat, and I file him as missing, like with, you know, the neighborhood next door app type stuff, and then some local shelter pages, community pages, and all of that. So I put out the word that he's missing, do the posters, the whole everything. And, you know, I was depressed. So I tried to film videos for you guys for like a couple days, and it did not work out at all. And like, I just wasn't myself. I had like, you know, a half crying voice the entire time, and it didn't help that my husband kept interrupting, because he stayed home from work the entire week because he hurt his shoulder and he had a cold. And I love my husband, but every time I'm home and he's home, he wants us to basically, you know, hang out together, which normally I would love, but it's like I need to get work done. And you know, he kept coming upstairs, and you'd hear him like coughing, clearing his throat, and he'd be like hanging out outside my craft room door, you know, listening in, trying to see if I was filming or not, and if he could come in and chat. So I scrapped all those videos because they were terrible. So, fast forward to Thursday. On a whim, I told my husband, as I'm leaving to go pick up our daughter from school, go find my cat. Because, you know, we'd been searching like every day. We'd go out and we'd look in this, you know, the same general areas, you know, a little bit further out. Anytime we get in the car, we would keep an eye out, hoping, or not hoping, depending on what we would see, that we would find him or not. And to no success. So Thursday, I leave to go pick up Rami from school. And I tell my husband, go find my cat. So he said that he walked the perimeter of the yard, you know, just on a whim, not expecting to find anything. And he finds our cat in the back corner of our property by the fence, you know, curled up. And, you know, he was able to catch him, and held on to him just enough to get him inside the storage shed, because, you know, again, his shoulder was hurting. It started hurting. He woke up with it hurting Sunday morning. And between putting up the Christmas tree and decorating it, and then, sorry, that was my phone. I forgot to silence it. I'll do that now before we have another loud. Anyway, so he found the cat way back there, brought him inside. His shoulder was still messed up, so he barely held on to him. And I mean, he messed up his shoulder more because he like jumped fences trying to catch the cat. Bless his heart. So he found my cat, brought him mostly inside, got home with my daughter, and I, you know, got him in the storage shed, and he was in an old automatic litter box, like in this big round part, and he hadn't moved the entire time. And like, he was just, you could tell he was terrified, and he was just miserable. So I brought him in. I was able to get him inside, and he didn't even fight me, not even once. We brought him inside, and, you know, you could tell he was weak. He was a little disoriented, and he was still scared. Drank a little bit of water, and he ate a little bit of food, and he tried to hide in the basement, which we have a finished basement with like a guest room. So I went and I picked up my sister. She lives about an hour away. Well, first I take my daughter to Taekwondo. Then I go and pick up my sister. And, you know, my husband's there with the cats, checked on him. You know, gave him food and water. He said he ate a little and drank a little. And he was resting in the basement on the couch. So I get home with my daughter and my sister. You know, and I decided to spend some time in the basement. I put my daughter to bed and go to snuggle my cat and just hang out with my sister. He barely moved the entire time. And I thought he was just, you know, it's really cold. Maybe he had a cold. It was clear he had a cold. So I put him upstairs on the couch and I went to bed. come down, because I wake up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd had like 2 hours of sleep, maybe 3. And, alright, come on. Chair. There we go. And I wake up with like this sense of dread. And I had a feeling I was going to walk downstairs and I was going to find him, you know, passed over. And he was still alive. He hadn't moved a single inch from where I had put him on the couch, like bundled up. And, you know, I snuggled him. He was still very cold. He let out like a couple really pitiful, sad meows. And then he started vomiting. And I just knew something wasn't right. So my husband's awake at this point, and we both decide he needs to go to the emergency vet. And so that's exactly what I did. I rushed him at 2 o'clock in the morning to the emergency vet. I'm hysterical at this point, by the way. I don't know how I made it to the vet in one piece with him, but I did, because my husband couldn't drive because his shoulder was messed up, and I didn't want to wake up my sister, so I went, because I didn't want to take the time to wake anybody else up. I just needed to go. Turns out he had a blocked urethra, which is a full-blown emergency. That cat was on, unfortunately, he was on death's doorstep when I got there. And bless them, they were able to save my cat's life. So he had to stay 48 hours in the emergency vet, which is a 24-hour clinic, and he had to stay hooked up to a catheter for 48 hours. And then he was able to go home, and I mean, it was a long 48 hours. And you know, I got it was a good thing my sister was here, because she helped keep my mind off of everything. They allowed us to go and visit him, you know, after he'd been in the hospital for at least 24 hours. So we went and got to see him, and he looked so much better in just the short 24 hours that he had been there. And he'd improved a lot. He was still a little cold, so they, you know, had heating blankets on him, you know, and like a heating lamp and everything. So he was getting the extra care he needed to warm up. And he was able to come home, and he's been home for a few days now. He came home Sunday night. Yeah. Oop. And I ended up being at the emergency vet for 5 hours, I think, 5 or 6 hours, waiting on him to be discharged. To no fault of their own, I might say. They were slammed with just emergency after emergency rolling in. And, I mean, not every pet, unfortunately, made it. And, you know, you could see owners upset, and it was clear that their pets didn't make it. But, they were absolutely amazing there. So I can't say enough about how awesome emergency vets are. I know not everybody has a great experience, and yes, waiting sucks, but it was worth it, because I knew that, you know, for every hour that I was delayed, they were saving a pet. And at the end of the day, I would wait another 12 hours if I had to, if it meant that another animal was being saved. You know, my cat was stable, my cat was fine. So, take care of somebody else's pet that needs their attention. But yeah, so when I brought him home, he and I snuggled on the couch. He slept with me the entire night. He slept with me 2 nights in a row. and it was so amazing. I miss that cat so much. So he's a little mad at me though, because I have to give him medication every 8 hours, and then he's got pain medication that he doesn't like to take, and we're trying to see how he goes today without any pain meds. I think he'll be fine, because he's starting to perk up and seem more like himself, so I don't think he needs the pain meds anymore. But yeah, so it was a happy ending. It was a very, very happy ending. I was very lucky, and I know I was lucky. He wouldn't have lasted much longer. I know that for sure. Alright, I think we'll use this for something. But yeah, and there goes the litter box again. So anyway, so that's how you deconstruct a book. And then now I have a shell of a book for another journal. Either I can make a journal that size, or I can, you know, trim it. But I'll probably make one just that size, because I like using the size of the books. You can also cut the spine out. I'll make it easier on this side. You can come in here and you can cut the spine out. So then you have just these boards, and then if you like, you can make it like a journal that flips out like that. So it's this high and that wide, and then you can just, you know, get some more, either another piece of a book like this, or oh, what is it called? What is chipboard? You can get some chipboard as the spine, or you can use fabric. So there's a few different ways to make, you know, make a journal from that. And now we have already ready to go pages to either, you know, tuck inside a journal like this, and you can, if it's too long, you can either cut it down, or you can fold it, like fold it in half, and then people can unfold it and read and see everything. Or if it's something you don't care about, you can make a, you know, like a little tuck spot like that, or, you know, fold it in, tuck spot like that. Or you can cut these up and make pockets and tags out of them and other fun ephemera, which is probably what I'll be doing pretty soon. But I'm just going to deconstruct one of these for now, and then I'm going to get started on working on that journal, because I am very, very behind. I'm at least a week behind on all of my crafting for Christmas gifts and everything, so I should probably get to that now. So thank you guys so much for watching and for listening to my long story. I do appreciate you guys listening. I just needed to get it all out and, you know, explain where I've been and why I haven't been filming any videos and sharing with you guys. Yeah, so again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.